Oh, She's on. She has to vote. Yes, sir.
You heard something else?
Might have her mute on.
Raise the power and,
You can hear us, we can hear you. Very quiet. We just need to test it. Hey, Shelley, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, thank you. We'll, 7:03 call the committee of the whole meeting for April 9th.
I can hear you good.
Councilor Ash is on hand in the room. Councilors Miller and Corey are available at the moment. First order of business will be the call for community interest. There is no in-camera today, but anybody have any community interest? No, I've heard none. Go to the agenda. One deletion, there will be no in-camera today. We're not ready for some stuff in there, but it won't be until the regular meeting, so there will be no in-camera. Is there any other additions or deletions for the agenda? No, haven't heard none. Can I have a motion to?
I'll make that motion with the deletion of the camera.
Thank you. All in favor? Kelly?
Yes.
Okay. There's no delegations, new business. We have a press release from Tasman for Sustained Technologies joint press release. Sarah Donna, you want to comment on that first?
I can, Your Worship. The CEO from Wetaskiwin County sent me their press release. This company they're bringing into Wetaskiwin County is from Nova Scotia, and they have a plant operating in Nova Scotia, and they use proprietary clean technology that takes non-source separated municipal solid waste, so you don't have to sort it, separates it into components and converts it into needed resources such as fertilizer and field products. On the video I was watching, and it can break down plastic bottles into their natural state, that being natural gas or oil or whatever. And it aims for up to 90% diversion and recovery of this material from landfills, because a lot of the plastic is still diverted into landfills, whether we want to admit that or not. That's what's happening. They also could take the landfill hills and reclaim the soil into fertilizer, so you don't have all these pits and runs and all that sort of stuff. And it dramatically reduces the reliance on the landfills, and of course decreases the greenhouse gas. It presents a great opportunity for the County of Wetaskiwin to lead in innovative waste management solutions, and that's from Reed Bishop. And it not only fosters economic development, but strengthens our commitment. It also offers proprietary clean technology that takes non-source separated municipal solid waste, and it can even turn it into agricultural fertilizer. It creates grow boost fertilizer as well for primary paper-derived materials, and that improves soil health while minimizing chemical runoff. So farmers do have to spray, but it won't be running off the field. This particular technology will hold it within, whether it is a pesticide spray or bug spray. And the county out of Nova Scotia, Peter Vinhall, is very excited to partner with Wetaskiwin. And Wetaskiwin has the land, and they can put it in 2 or 3 different spots. They're looking right on Highway 2, where people can see it. And I suggested to the CAO, I said, I just wonder if we should start turning that into a BRZ zone along Highway 2. And he said, it's been tried before, but nobody ever wanted to sustain it. Business recovery zone for taxation purposes for commercial enterprises. So we were just kind of kicking that around as well. So 30 to 35 local jobs in technical and maintenance roles, and they've done quite a bit of community engagement. And so it's pretty exciting. It's on its way, and I said, love to be able to do a tour, and Scott, the CAO, has certainly said when it's time, they'd love to host our mayor and council and any administration that we wanted to see this plant in action. So it's pretty exciting. The CAO in Itasca has only been there 6 months, and this was his first project. Pretty impressive. So we're pretty excited, and Thorsby also could have a role in this with diverting recyclables to this plant as well. And that means there's no sorting, just all go in a bin and whatever. So we're going to keep an eye on that and see if we can divert our recycling into this plant and support potentially the county of Itasca on it. So that's what's happening with it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, if not, we'll go to 5.2.
Was there any talk of glass recycling being added in there?
Your worship, through to Mr. Shirley, I did ask him about glass, because of course glass is diverted into landfills. It is not recyclable. This technology is working on glass. For now, they'll take glass, but it's until they get that sorted out, it'll probably be diverted. So, which is unfortunate, because we can't afford to haul it to Kelowna. That's a recycling plant, Kelowna, but nobody can afford to haul it there, and it doesn't really get recycled into much. So, Sustain Industries is working on that as we speak. So, thanks for that question.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? 5.2, at our last regular meeting, we directed administration to come up with a donations policy. We found out we were lacking there. So, CEO Donna, if you want to make a comment on the donations policy, please.
I can. This is the first look for council and of course, administration, and with passage at the end of the month. But we have a lot of donations in the town of Thorsby that there's been a lot of chat and wonderment lately about how long do we keep them, when do they become ours, when do we discard them, and so on and so forth. So this policy is a financial policy, FIN 2401, because it does have potential financial implications for the town. And what it is to ensure consistency in receiving donations or donations dispersed by the municipality, or those donations that have been entrusted to the municipality through estates, gifts, or enhancements such as plants, artwork, outdoor benches, furniture, memorials. Also to clarify how and when an official tax receipt for cash donations, gifts in kind, and other non-monetary donations for the town are to be issued, and that's under Canada Revenue Agency's rules, and to ensure good governance practices to avoid improper receiving. So the guidelines are about official income tax receiving, and we'll follow CCRA's guidance on that. We can refuse a donation. Again, this is draft. If there's no need or space for it, it creates a financial long-term burden for maintenance and care. If it presents a conflict of interest, creates an undue risk, does not align or support program services delivered enhancements to the town, or is donated from an elected official. Any refused donation must meet one of the criteria just listed above and receive authorization of the CO prior to communicating with the donor. The donor can request their gift be applied to a specific town program, location, or initiative if there is no benefit to the donor or anyone at arm's length to the donor. The donations may be refused if there's unreasonable restrictions from the donor. Donations of cultural significance or historical significance will be displayed only with the agreed upon time frame in writing with the donor, which can be a short period or in perpetuity. Donations that require moving or placed in a safer place will not be initiated without contacting the donor first or having a perpetual letter on file with the town providing direction. And donations will be accepted, of course, under the following conditions: general exposure and profile, so anything that enhances the town of Thorsby's general profile status or increases the overall awareness; economic benefit, the event or activity that attracts tourists and visitors to the town, providing economic benefit to local businesses; promoting civic pride and sense of place, and that means that activity or event will enhance entertainment, recreational, cultural opportunities for the town and create more varied and interesting local personality; and honor those who reside or have resided in Thorsby through service to country, service to community while in uniform, or service through founding of the community. And implementation is this. We look for council to pass a necessary resolution to identify the group as a project or donation, or a perpetual asset to the town or a project, then the CAO enters into a written agreement with the organization. CFO ensures that donations are recorded properly and accurately, and makes sure they have the right receipts if possible. And of course, municipalities are what we call receipt-ors through Canada Revenue. The CAO and CFO maintain a registry of donations, their status, their value, their conditions, their maintenance schedule. And the CAO and CFO maintain a budgetary line item for donation maintenance and life cycle that shall be included in budget preparation annually. Now, the life cycle, we did a fair amount of research on the life cycle, and there's no real rules for life cycle, and we looked at policy for quite a long time, actually. So, three issues on life cycle. Donors may wish to have the town perpetuate the maintenance and look of the donation, and can contribute to a perpetual care fund that specifically supports their donation. The town will, at its sole discretion, decide whether a donation to a specific item is accepted, or the town shall maintain all donated amenities, including trees, and replace and repair vandalized items for a maximum period of 15 years. The term begins on the date of installation. When the amenity needs to be replaced, the plaque will be removed, and the sites will become available for new donations, like the Emerson L. The plaque will be returned to the donor whenever possible, so it won't be just dig something up and let it go. And in the case of trees and planting, they'll be evaluated based on their life cycle and/or conditions. So that is draft one of the donation policy.
All right, thanks for that. So yeah, go ahead.
How many pages is that?
It is your RFP, and then it's 3 pages.
So that one is.
I've kept up with you to a point and then you lost me.
The one on the website isn't correct, so I'm making changes at the last minute.
The whole last few minutes of
Yeah.
what you said, I never saw any of that.
Yeah.
The one emailed to you was the correct one?
Oh.
Yeah.
So, yeah, encouraging council to look it over, and we'll bring it back for the regular meeting, and anybody that has any things they want to change or talk about it, and if they have any questions right now, we can bring them up. No, nothing? So we'll bring it back for the regular meeting on the, I guess what's that, the 23rd? Yeah, okay. All right, so can I get a motion to accept 5.1 and 5.2 for information?
I can make that motion.
Thank you, Tracy. All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Okay, old business, fees and service bylaw 2024-04. This is the second look, so that'll be kind of the same thing. Everybody looked at it a couple more times, and you know, anyone make comment on that?
The only, Your Worship, thank you. The only change we made from the last time we chatted was in the RFP, make clear the subsidization aspect of the incidental rate as laid out in Schedule C. So,
Yeah.
new, and they've been reflected and highlighted for your consideration on this bylaw.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that. Okay, so, just accept that for information. Motion accept 6.1 for information.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Shelley? Hello, Shelley?
I was trying to unmute, sorry. Yes.
Thank you. That's carried. All right, we will go to the council reports. First off, report from mine. For the month of March, met with the energy company regarding purchase of water, and that we've kind of concluded that one there, and we'll be announcing that one as soon as we have all the T's crossed and the I's dotted. March 12th, we had our council meeting. March 15th, meeting the sale and read for the County of Leduc regarding water, and talking with them. March 20th, met with Eugene Pahoka regarding their land, 60 acres behind the school, for a possible bulk water station site, and found out that they're really not interested in selling that unless it's the whole cadoodle there, and, I think it'd be a little bit out of price, but it was good to find out where we stand. And, we have them in the office here. March 25th, first, I met with Arctic Spas regarding a possible bulk water site there, and, we're dealing with them right now, and, I believe, you know, this was a site that, previous council, looked at and put it over there, and, it's looking very favorable, so we're just trying to figure something out there. March 26th, we had a regular council meeting. March 27th, I attended the Northern Saskatchewan Water Alliance Board along with Councillor Gilbert. We were just spectators. It was quite informative. I found out quite a few things in there that we haven't been there for a while, but EPCOR had a couple of presentations as they're a major contributor to the Alliance, and Thorsby is also a member. They also have a general meeting in June, and they're looking for a couple of new board members, so we might address that. Starting in 2025, EPCOR is initiating a stormwater rebate program. It's going to be one of their big deals. They're up to $800 for installation of a backwater valve. They're also concentrating on downspouts and rain barrels and other incentives to save water and divert water so that there'd be no flooding. It could be the opposite of a drought. So they've really going looking after that. The other presentation discussed, it's right now it's a level drought with level 4 with the county or the whole province they've designated, and they have other programs going mainly in the south for the rivers like the Red Deer, Old Man, and the Bull. Interestingly enough, Water Smart, who we've been kind of talking with, is involved with a $125 million project over 5 years with all these down south. And as well, there's a $22 million grant that they're working with the Northern Saskatchewan Water Alliance to develop this as water management over the region, the whole region here. So they're looking at what is needed for water, who needs it, and I'm sure we'll be included in there. So I think it's kind of worthwhile going to these meetings. You used to go to this meeting, didn't you? The Northern Saskatchewan Water Alliance. Did you attend those meetings before? No?
I'm not too sure of that.
No, that's okay. Corey mentioned that maybe you were going to them, but,
Yeah.
no. All right, that's my report. Does anybody have any questions on there? No? Okay, Councillor Gilbert is not here, and Miller, Councillor Musson.
That's me. So I attended all the regularly scheduled council meetings. March 5th was a library meeting. The library applied for and received 2 amounts for 2 different grants of $1,000 and $1,200 for senior programs from Leduc County. The library has been a hotspot of activity. The escape room was well received. Teen time is popular. Fun with friends. Story time for little ones was well attended. A seniors paint afternoon is being offered in March, as well as board game cafe. 4 different international days will be celebrated in March. Paula would like to collaborate with Michaela, Sam, and Kelly on a few things. Check out Connect 39 for the library's annual report. The stats on the collections and borrowing activity are impressive and have kept the librarians so busy that they are considering how they can hire more part-time help. March 14th, I was bingo paymaster for the seniors. March 19th, I did a Zoom session. It was a conversation with AHS, Alberta Health Services, about healthcare and wildfire response. It was a question and information session on management around facilities and patients in our region that might be affected by wildfires. March 21st, Chamber of Commerce meeting. The Chamber is strongly considering amalgamating administration resources with Leduc Chamber. May Long Weekend is approaching. The Chamber will manage a ball tournament and beer gardens. The town of Thorsby will manage the parade. Historical Society will host cornhole tournament and meatball supper, indoor beer gardens, and 50-50. Memberships are continuously being updated. Spirit of Thorsby is being planned for September 7th weekend. There are plans for a carnival fair with rides, entertainment, and unveiling of a statue in Taylor Park. The Chamber learned that ATCO would lend out barbecues, small tents, and sound stages for events if applied for. On March 27th, I presented the library with donated seeds for a seed swap from Communities in Bloom. And March 28th, I played bingo at the seniors' Easter meat bingo. And that was quite a big deal. I'd never played at that one because they give away meat, turkeys, and ham and cash. They had 70 people present at their bingo, whereas normally it's about 20. So it was a full house.
And did you win? Did you bingo?
I got $5 that night. And my signature, it wouldn't allow me to sign. I couldn't figure that out, so I'll ask you next month.
Thank you for that. Anybody have any questions for Councillor Musson?
Actually, Your Worship. Councillor Musson, just as a curiosity, I wasn't available to make that AHS meeting, but what kinds of tips did they provide or anything new around facilities and patients with respect to wildfire? Were they talking about emergency management reception centers, or what were they talking about?
I kind of, I listened to the whole session. I kind of zoned out of some of it because I didn't really feel it pertained to us in this area. It was more for like up at White Court, Fox Creek, Valley View, when they've got issues and how are they going to get the patients out of the area, when can they bring the people back into the area. Even Drayton Valley, I guess, was affected. So although the fires are stopped, how come you can't open up the hospital doors today? You can't, because they're still turning on electricity, or there's been smoke damage, or they got to make sure things are up and running and ready for patients to come back in. So I don't know that I really honed in on your question, but yeah, it was interesting to see how facilities are affected, and us as the public kind of sit back and go, and question, why aren't they doing this faster? And there's always justification and reason as to why things are done the way they're done.
Oh, no, that's awesome. I know from talking to the CEO of Fox Creek when it was going on up there, even Alberta Emergency Management Agency didn't understand. They wanted to shut down water treatment plants, sewage lift stations, and everything. She wouldn't do it. She said, I can't do it. Well, you have to shut everything. I can't do it. She said, I'll stay here with a skeleton crew. We have to maintain it. And even ATCO Gas was there standing strong with her. And she finally had to educate AEMA that to turn that all off, it would take a week and a half when they got back into the community to restart, because they'd have to flush all the lines and everything. Close to 2 weeks. It is an incredible process. So part of what will happen next week is ATCO is coming to start talking to us about an emergency management exercise with respect to recovery. So we'll have more details probably at regular further on, but we'll be inviting other communities, but we're just starting the initial planning with them next week. So.
Okay. Nice. Any other questions? Councillor Ash, you want, with your permission, you want me to read yours, or?
I can go through it quickly. So I also attended the regular council meetings for the month of March. And then on March 5th, as Tracy had stated, we did the library board meeting, which now that we're doing it earlier, we're always seemingly a month behind. So I had given some updates back in my report the prior month about this. The only thing that I'll add, even though it'll be in our April report, is that Tracy and I were together a couple hours last week working on a submission for a Minister's Award for our library, and our theme is diversity. So we submitted that, and I guess we'll just wait and see what comes out of that. And then on March 7th, I was the bingo paymaster, and that was my month of March.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Councillor Ash? Okay, can I get a motion to accept the council reports for information?
Oh, I'll make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor?
Yes, I'm in favor.
Thank you, carried. All right, CA reports, 8.1, CA O'Donnell.
Thank you, Your Worship. So a busy month again in March. And so all the water intake land fee agreements for the lessors have been completed, and we'll send the one here in the next week, but they'll all have them, and we'll await their feedback or engage in signing. And we finalized and signed off the quality management plan for safety codes, and identified our safety codes officer for fire from Leduc County to complete the report for year 2024. They keep having Leduc County, and this is a tongue-in-cheek, it's kind of a funny, but every time we get one in, they either retire or they get transferred, so we have to keep putting new ones in. So we're learning how to do this faster. Researching bulk water stations regarding capital ownership on the sale of water, cost of water in preparation for the meeting with County Leduc. We did that so that we were prepared. Worked with the administrative team to identify possible sites for bulk water station and conducted a cost-benefit analysis, site hazard analysis, and selected the best potential 2 sites. We're engaged with meetings with the County of Wetaskiwin, meetings with insurance regarding our lagoon leak and subsequent follow-up and mitigation along with Alberta Environment, and we continue to work with Alberta Environment. They want to know our mitigation plan and when we're going to get it fixed. CB Max, I won't steal Andrew's thunder, so we've been in contact with CB Max, our primary contractor, and they have provided us with a potential cost. Working with Alberta Emergency Management Agency on our year-end review for our plan. They can't make it out, and so they just asked us to have a bunch of questions answered. So that's just a typical checklist. And of course, we're coordinating with ADCO for our first meeting in the Emergency Management Exercise Development. We provided a correspondence and per council's direction to the Leduc Housing Foundation as a congratulatory measure from council regarding their award, and heard back from their executive director today, and she was very appreciative. Development of correspondence from council regarding the funding to RCMP, just about done, that particular letter for council to see and comment on, gathering statistics and facts a little bit so that we know what the strength of the RCMP are. I've got all that locked down now, so you'll be receiving that letter probably within the next week so that it can be passed and sent by the next council meeting. Lots of meetings with residents, as usual. Preparation of the first draft of the donations policy, which you reviewed tonight. And just to let you know, with the differences in, a lot of times on the weekend when I'm in my office, and for some reason the remote decides it doesn't want to work. So we've kind of decided to use the program, and we're going to actually look at using the program and the instructions to pull off the council package are right here attached to my report. So you won't get an email, you'll get an email saying the report or your council package is ready to pull off from the Diligent app. And of course, we can walk you through it and help you too. So if you phone me sometimes before Friday midnight, we can walk you through, and we kind of leave Jessie alone because she's off. So, and we in the process of setting up a meeting with Black Oak School Division. This isn't on my report, but regarding land planning to be scheduled, it's a legislative process, and we have to have a land management plan in the schools. So the new superintendent and I'll work on that sometime. And I'll stand down. Oh, and the peace officer, his report, he's been on training. He was up at Lac La Biche this last week taking what we call EBOC training. It's emergency operation vehicle training, and had our car up there, and he made the Lac La Biche paper. And this is all about carrying control of the vehicle. It's about spinning around cones. It's about backing up at high speed. It's about high-risk stops and all that sort of thing. And that's a week training. And Deanna loved it. He said it was totally stressful some days when you go to stop someone, you get out to the car, and that's someone in the car who's another police officer pretends that they're not and somebody else. But anyway, our little car performed very well, and we're on the front page of the Lac La Biche paper. So that was pretty cool. And they got it right. We are a town west of Edmonton. So that was beautiful. And other than that, he's following up on files. The run for, and I don't have the name of it. I apologize. I meant to bring in the poster. The cookie run, thank you. Our CPO, Dan, is going to run it with the participants in full uniform. And he's going to stop at the corners, do traffic control, and then keep running. And a week before last, he and the RCMP stopped in the high school, and we're playing pickup basketball with the high school kids all in uniform, and the kids need some practice. Anyway, that was just comment. So I'll stand down for questions.
All right, any questions for Sue O'Donnell on the, report? So the council meeting, that's just for the council, that's not for the public? Like when you put it on there,
No, that's just for council. The public can pull it our usual way. Am I right, Jeff? So we have to tell the general public about how to do this now too?
No, but, well, everybody can use that method, everybody can access it.
On the website.
Yes,
They can still pull it on the website like they do now, is the question?
yes, yes.
But they do not have to be trained in this diligent method like the council will have to pull it.
I can post that same, like, PSA online if we want to.
Oh, no, I'm just trying to, no, the public can pull it now anyway, correct?
Yes,
Any way they want.
yes,
Council goes through diligent to pull it.
it's the same with the public, yes.
There's a link on our website that you can go to and pull it.
All right.
So when I come into the meeting here,
Yeah.
I open up diligence,
Yeah.
and then it sits there waiting a date and Cal meeting, and I click on that, and it opens up, just like that?
You're doing it perfectly as you are right now, that's totally,
That's,
yeah.
there's gonna be no
And you
change.
can also download it as well. So you have both options. You can do it exactly as you're doing right now, which is perfect. You can also download if you want to have downloaded copy. You'll always be able to access it there.
okay. Perfect, yeah, that's what I was just wondering, okay. I have to get involved there and check it out. Won't get any other ones anyhow. All right, 8.3, Public Works Report, Andrew Curley.
All right, so for the month of March, I attended the Alberta Water and Wastewater Operators Association, conference. Very interesting how, again, the larger companies don't want to give us appropriate information, the smaller communities, for this, water restriction that we're supposed to be going on. But I ended up leaving with a lot more questions, than getting answers from them. Hopefully we can get further along with that with talking with the Alberta government and figuring out exactly how this is gonna impact us. Even though we're a little bit further north, it's still supposed to, this drug is supposed to affect the whole province. So, other than that, it was a good conference. Got to meet, a couple of new, water plant operators, including, had the opportunity to meet one of the operators from Fox Creek, during their fire that they had. The two senior operators were the only two that were left there. All their younger, upcoming operators basically left. So the two operators were working 14-hour shifts in the entire time, 14 on, 14 off, the whole duration of that fire, just to keep their water plant up and running. So it's, it can get pretty hectic. Assess the valve at the sewage lagoon. This was a conversation we had, last council meeting about the leak that we had there. We did get the valve closed. Stevie Max will be out Tuesday, and we're not gonna replace that valve. We're actually gonna cut into the pipe further down, so we're not interfering with the bank of the sewage lagoon, and put a whole new valve in. So now we'll have two valves, and hopefully prevent this from happening ever again. We also located a CC valve, just in case anybody notices when you're walking down the sidewalk. The old movie theater CC valve. They asked us to close it because they're closing in the whole basement section, and their water meter was actually set down underneath the floor in a crawl space. So we shut their valve down to put the meter up above ground level so that they can cement all that in. That valve is probably the oldest CC valve we have in this town. I actually had to search for the specific tool to open and close this valve. Anyways, we got it closed. In the process of opening it again, it decided it doesn't wanna allow the water to just flow through the line, it wants to come out through that. So if you notice a bit of water there, hopefully on Tuesday when TB Max comes in, we'll have them take care of, replacing that valve as well. Met with our Wolseley, not our Wolseley rep, but met with a Wolseley rep. Our two outdoor sales reps that we had have both moved on to different companies. So we're kind of in limbo of having an outside sales rep. I called them and kind of said, I'm not too impressed. I'm thinking about moving over to Neptune. They very quickly jumped on, got one of their top guys on there, and I now have Badger water meters.
So how many more you got to go then? 50?
Actually, 200 of them showed up yesterday.
Oh, my God.
So, unfortunately, after Victor from Wolseley contacted Badger and basically ripped them a new one nicely, found out that every company is having the same issue with these water meters with the valves on them. They can't get the components into Canada to build those valves on the water meters. So we have backed away from the water meters with the valves and just have the E-Series water meters. So they're the sonic water meters. They're the exact same water meters. They just don't have the built-in valve to them.
So I don't get the pleasure of shutting people off.
Yeah, we still have to do it the old-fashioned way of going out and closing these.
But they're functionally otherwise.
Exactly, and we'll still get all the same information once this endpoint system, this ion water is up and running. We'll still get all the same information that we would with the other water meters, right down to actually the temperature of your water coming in. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So they sent me, they freighted 50 of them out to us right away. The rest of the 200 batch just showed up the other day. So the public works team has cleared all the storm drains to allow for snow melt. Other than our piles that we have out there, we're going to see any more snow. So hopefully we can continue with this nice weather. And we're currently working on getting our equipment for the summer all set up and ready to go. Thank you. That's what I was looking at. I just wanted to add in there, I've been in contact with our contractor that does our street sweeping. We are first on the list. They do not start doing street sweeping till after the last week of April, due to possible temperature drops overnight and freezing of the streets and whatnot. So, 22nd of April, he will contact me and finalize a date for street sweeping, so we can let all the residents know. We'll definitely have it done before the May long weekend. Have it all nice and pretty out there.
I have a question, maybe not be for you, maybe for the CFO and CO. Summer students for cutting grass and that. Are we looking at that, or is that through you, Kelly?
I applied for the grant.
Oh, you did?
We just were waiting to hear. So
Okay.
I checked the status of
All right.
it, and it's still just in decision mode, so. But we didn't budget for the grant
No.
to get, like, we didn't budget the income because we didn't get it last year.
Right.
And then we budgeted, 2 or 3, and whatever, yeah. There are summer students in the budget, so.
Okay.
It's usually the end of April, first week of May that we'll hear whether or not we get.
Okay, sorry, I know it's not the place for it, but it just came to me. All right, thank you. Any other questions for the, yeah?
I would like to know if somebody's gonna come and clean along the gutters before that street sweeper comes, because they don't sweep there.
Yeah.
And Jim used to clean in front of our place, in front of our trailer, and in front of Darcy's trailer. And last year, it was just a joke with that street sweeper. So if they're not gonna clean, if it's not gonna be cleaned right, why waste our money on that?
The gutter in front of the,
You know where the curb is,
yeah,
the curb gutter?
yeah.
That needs to be cleaned, and it should be cleaned every year.
Cool.
And they've never been done in I don't know how long.
Okay, well,
I know mine hasn't been done since Jim's been gone.
okay, well, that's something that Public Works can look into.
Look into that, most definitely.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of dirt and weeds all along, all the way from West Top.
I got a lot of curbs and vanish too, that I gotta try to take care of.
Tracy?
Regarding the, water meters, Andrew, can you remind me what the process is gonna be to notify the residents? How much notice or?
We'll give ample amount of notice, so, the 200 just came in, so I gotta kind of get an idea of whether we're gonna try and look into the paperwork to find out which are the oldest ones and replace those, or if we're just gonna start at one end of town and work our way along. I'm thinking I'm gonna divide the town up into 4 quadrants, and I'll put a map together and let residents know what quadrants are what.
Because they're inside their house, right?
They are,
So
yes,
you have to have access to inside.
that's right, that's right.
Then we'll probably send a thing out with,
With water bills, yeah.
All right,
Yes.
a few have been asking.
I'm not looking forward to this part.
What about the trailers? I think the water meters are underneath the trailers.
They are,
Mine's
yes, those are the other ones I don't like. I'm not a small guy, I don't fit under them very well.
Jim needs to go under and work.
All right, any other questions for Andrew? No? All right, Kelly Probert, Parks and Recreation Manager report, please.
Sure, so for the month of March, our gym memberships are holding strong, about the same, 111 current members. Spring yoga has started on Mondays and Wednesdays, excuse me, sorry. For programs, Sam had, on March 11th, she did, it was a PD day, so she did a team program with movie and hot dog and popcorn and stuff, and that was well received. She actually had a good turnout from the teams in the afternoon. March 26th, field trip to Activate Edmonton and Millwood's wave pool. We had 25 kids go on that. March 28th, we did an in-house program. It was the Melt the Ice Party. 20 kids were registered for that. It was good, it was a lot of fun. We were able to open up a bunch of family skates as well before the end of the hockey season. So as the bookings opened up, we put out free family skates so everybody could get a chance to skate before we shut the ice down. I've continued my training with the Community Helpers Program certification with Leduc County, so that's usually every 2 weeks, so about 2 a month. I had multiple meetings with the Gravel Cycle Committee, so that's for the event, the Gravel Cycle event on August 16th to 18th. We submitted a grant under the Town of Thorsby to Travel Alberta that will fund the event and hopefully feed back some money into the community for infrastructure, but just upgrades maybe around the trails and Lions Campground. So we're waiting. We don't know how that'll go, but we're hopeful. I had a meeting with the chamber regarding May Long weekend events, just making sure everything's coordinated and organized and who's doing what. We hosted, for the first time actually ever, we hosted a hockey tournament the last weekend that we had ice, March 22nd to 24th. And that was actually a great way to end the season. It packed the facility, filled up the ice when it's usually kind of quiet, and it was really well received. So I hope West 39 continues to do that every year. It was a fun tournament for the kids. We shut the ice plant down on March 28th. Everything was good. So our brine analysis report just came back. It's good. Everything's clear. We're not expecting any major mechanical repairs needed, so it's just going to be a preventative maintenance with our compressor rebuilds and whatnot. So, yay. That's hopefully that stays the course. Over the Easter long weekend, we had all the furnace ducts cleaned. So we had done those a year and a half ago, and when we had no heat in the building, so they were actually quite plugged again. Mainly, the main corridor in the main lobby, like from the lobby to the library, was pretty blocked, like the actual, what's the word? Like the vents where they, I guess just the vents. Yeah, so, the plan right now, and, they've checked it over the last 18 months just to make sure we're okay, and the plan is to try to do this every 2 years over Easter weekend, because we're typically closed anyway because there's so many staff on that weekend. It works out well. You know, it's an easy closure for the facility to get that done. Also, we've terminated the services with our concession vendor. They will be in until the end of April, and then we will be working towards bringing in a new vendor in the future.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Kelly?
Daryl, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kelly, I'm just curious, do we have regular maintenance on our gym equipment, or is that just hit and miss as needed, or how does that work?
The gym equipment is usually as needed. So, like our ice guys over the winter, they'll do all of the maintenance on it when, you know, stuff breaks or fails. If it's beyond our scope, we'll try to bring somebody in. When Leduc County, when we moved all of the equipment in, we did a service on all of our mechanical equipment. We do have one piece of equipment that is down right now. It's one of our cable machines. I've had it cabled a couple times. I'm not doing it again. So we're actually just in the process. We're going to move that out and purchase a new machine that we need.
Okay, yeah, it's just that, yeah, I heard from a few people, because they go to the gym quite often, that a couple of the cable machines were broken. So that was the only reason. I thought we might get regular maintenance, but thank you.
Yeah, it's the cable machine. It's one of the original pieces for the gym. That Community Fit was a joint purchase like years ago. And it's like a 4-sided machine, and the cables just keep snapping. And it's just the machine. It's just the age. So we have all of the components in our gym but one. So we're going to purchase that single component to replace that.
All right. Any other questions for Kelly? Okay, if not, then we'll go to the FCSS coordinator report. Sue Donna, if you don't mind, please.
No, thank you, Your Worship. Volunteer appreciation event, of course, is Wednesday, April 17th. Doors are open at 5:30, supper 6, and show at 7. The caterer is Tennis Shahara, and the entertainment is the Enoch Cree Nation performance team. At the time of this report, 70 tickets or so. We're getting closer to 100 now, which is really good. We're pretty excited about that. And partnering with Leduc County and Thorsby, we're looking at an intergenerational program, and Michaela's in partnership with Leduc County FCSS and Thorsby Elementary Grade 4 on running an intergenerational program. So it focuses on building a bridge between the generations. So what was it like in my generation or someone in the 40s or 50s compared to what it is now? And I don't know if I'm looking old, but Michaela asked me if I'd help be a senior for this and show them what it's like in my generation. So I'm going to have a little chat with her about that. But I think it'd be kind of fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah, I think so. I didn't use a washboard when I was growing up, but so it's just about to show them about a simpler time and talk about communication and talk about the fact that no matter where the technology is and who's around, you still have to interact with people. So it's a first of its kind right now, and so we'll take a look at it, and there's always room to debrief it and take a look. So we'll see how it goes in April. Michaela started the animator training with Canadian Rural Mental Health Association, so that's really exciting, and they're very excited to have her. I had a chat with them. Michaela helped and attended Run Fraud Proof, the Savvy Seniors Lunch and Learning Experience at Glen Park Hall with Leduc County FCSS. You can't get away from fraud, but you can be savvy about it, and that's important. The fraud reporting center with the RCMP in Ottawa is just overrun. I mean, it's really is just a reporting vortex is all it is.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
No, nothing happens. And, they're talking now that the biggest frauds right now are the refund checks from Revenue Canada. And it's come across the border, both borders from the United States and Canada with the IRS and with the Canada Revenue Agency. They're partnering together to, warn folks that, if you get a refund, it should come right into your bank account. There should be nobody saying to you, come and pick up your check at Bob's House of Pizza. So, the Mums and Tots program, or Parent Tots, we're looking at, we're taking council's direction about a new look, but it's going to take a hiatus. We're going to look at it over the summer and, you know, determine what we're going to do with it. And so the group ran 4 times in March, but we know there has to be some changes to it. So that gives us a summer to think about it. Michaela was at the Leduc Hub discussion on March 6th, the Food Bank Country Collab meeting on the 27th of March, the Connect 39 Connect with Us article for March 20th, and 15 clients, 7 walk-ins, and 8 appointments booked this month. So that seems to be a pretty steady amount that Michaela's looking after. So that's what's happening. So we're busy preparing for the appreciation meal next Wednesday, and your worship, I think you're coming to give an opening address.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions for David on this here? Okay, if not, can I get a motion to accept the CEO reports for information?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Tracy. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Carried. 9.1, CFO report.
Thank you. So in March, it was busy. I completed the bank reconciliations for the year end, completed MasterCard reconciliations for the year end. I put together the year end binder for the auditors with all the required lead sheets, working papers, and backup documentation. I assisted with utility bills. I had water meetings with Andrew, Dave, and Donna. Worked with Dayon to develop the bylaw billing form. I met with Donna Rita Fortis Grant. Met with Leduc Fire, exercises in the rec center, approval of payables, process payroll, process EFT payments, meetings with 360 regarding ARO implementation. Met with the auditors to answer questions and assist them in audit process. Finalized the 2023 pension numbers with the LAPP rep. Completed the tax recovery forms for land titles registrations, weekly admin staff meetings, and there were no shut-offs in the month of March. And the ARO implementation, I sent them a bunch of information today. So I'm probably hear back from them tomorrow or Thursday regarding that. And they won't be done their stuff till about the 23rd to the 25th. So, and unfortunately, our auditors can't meet on April 30th, as that is the final day of tax season.
That was my next question.
Yeah, so we need to call, we're gonna have to call a special meeting for May 7th.
Okay.
To do that, and that date works for them as I talk to them on the weekend, so. Yeah, so it's May 7th will be the, yeah.
What time will that be at?
On
Regular?
May 7th,
Yeah,
it'll be at 7 o'clock.
because Tracy and I have library board that night. Just FYI.
April 25th.
No, May 7th.
We have to pass the budget.
Yes, we're not about that
We got-
yet. We have to get the statements in,
We have
because
to get
they'll
the
already be late.
statements in.
Yeah, that's our library board meeting date.
I mean, we can try to see if they can come on the 6th, the Monday, but.
Is there any way we could do it earlier?
Well, like what time's your meeting, 7?
7, yeah. How
Do you
long
think-
does it usually take? I can't recall.
Well, it just depends how many questions you guys have, like, I don't know how long it'll take. I can see if they can come at 5, because he said let him know the time, so.
Yeah, like 5, if we get it at 5, that should be more than enough. I can't see us taking more than an hour for that.
No, hour and a half, I don't think it'll
Yeah.
take.
Yeah.
If he said, just let him know the time, he said the 7th, they've got us booked in, so.
I would suggest if you can come early. This is an important meeting though, and we do have to report our fur and sur into the Alberta government. They're actually on time this year, but because of the ROA, ARO.
Yeah.
The ARO, it has delayed us, so that we had to call this special at a time of the government, sending in the information to the government, so we have to meet our timelines. So, I would consent to 5 o'clock if they can. If not, we have to consider, potential priorities.
We have to get this in.
It's a mandated deadline. That's,
Irene?
I can't make it better.
Is it absolutely necessary for the two councillors to attend the library board, one go and cut in?
I think it's in the bylaws that they have to have 2. That's, we had this problem before. It was, we started with 1, and then they came back and they said it would have to have 2.
Okay.
So, I mean, but you're, you know, if priorities come priorities, if we can only get them.
I'm sure if the meeting starts at 5 and we're
Yeah.
an hour and a half, we can make it to the library meeting.
But if we can't do 5, then we have to do 7.
Okay,
But I will ask if 5 works.
all right. Well, you'll just let us know for that.
Okay, so for financial information, outstanding utilities at the end of March were $77,150.06, of which $59,84.01 is subject to shut-off. Outstanding taxes, $83,753.83. This number looks low because of the TIPS program, because all the credits are in there too.
Oh, yeah.
So of which $61,809.94 is up for tax recovery and $35,579.60 is from 2023 tax notices. Our operating accounts, the end of March had $206,044.61 compared to $4,049.11 in 2023. Our savings accounts just over 1.4 compared to 1.35 at the end of 2023, and our line of credit is still at 0 as compared to $120,000 in 2023. So we are doing okay.
Nice.
Should be saving on interest then.
Oh, yeah, and we're making money on interest because interest rates are high, so I think we get about, I don't know, $7,000 or $8,000 a month in interest right now. So that's good.
Okay, any, questions for?
Just a comment, Your Worship. Yep. I know that, Councillor Corey had wanted to make sure that we had prudent cash management, in all things. He's mentioned it every year. I would suspect that, that the, operating account and the savings account indicates prudent cash management.
Yeah, this is the first time I can recall that we haven't had to dip into the line of credit, so that's very, very good job.
Because my favorite word is no.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion to accept the CFO report for information?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Tracy. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Item 10.1, Alberta municipalities, they have, the call for independent elections. Say, Donna, do you want to comment on that?
I can comment. It's rather annoying, Your Worship, and
Yeah.
Council, to be quite honest with you. They did a survey, and the majority of Albertans said we don't want political parties in our municipal elections at all. We want the local folks to be able to run their own munis. So during a dialogue with the Minister and Premier at the recent Spring Municipal Leaders Caucus, the Minister and Premier confirmed their intention to bring in legislation that would pave the way for political parties to formally participate in local elections, with an openness to receive alternative recommendations on how to improve the Local Authorities Election Act, to which I used to teach that act. I have already just about 15 recommendations now that needs to change. I taught it for a whole year around the province. Also on rules for third-party advertisers and ways to increase candidates' understanding of the role of councils. So part of the issue is they sent us, the President of AB Munis has sent us, of course, some talking points, key messages to media, public and provincial officials. And they're talking about how to limit donation amounts and financial disclosures and update information and nomination, et cetera. It is profoundly disappointing that they did a survey and they will still allow parties. Part of the problem too is, and I know that when I ran for mayor in the city of Leduc, if the developers weren't funding, you didn't have a hope in heck of even running. And that was key. So that's why that partisan stuff is coming into play, and that's why they want to look at the whole limit individual donation amounts and other amounts, because the corporation can't fund you, but somebody can, right? And a lot of councils that have a lot of development in their area have a lot of developed for money, and some have quite big war chests. So the issue with this is local politics have to come from the grassroots. Local politics in, whether it's a summer village, a small town, or a city, have to come from the people. And in the history of our province, and other provinces too, there's never been a running slate. In other words, if I'm running for mayor, I pick 4 conservatives to run with me, and then we just do our thing. You have to have, it's important in a municipality to have a collage of representations, a collage of ideas, and a collage of different people on it. So they sent us some talking points. I would suggest that we may need to seek out our MLA's support, or where he is in all this. I do think that we certainly can send some key messages to the media. I think we could send some key messages to provincial officials in the way of a letter indicating, you know, either what the town of Thorsby or the 3920 coalition wants to do. But it's very disappointing is that why do a survey?
Oh, yeah, especially
Why bother?
when the results come out, and they ignore them. So.
Yeah, like 68% of Albertans are opposed to the idea. That's way over 50. More than 80%, I'm not good at math, but I know that's a pretty big number. More than 80% thought that municipal officials who are part of a political party would vote along party lines. Well, they will. It's not even a hope or a thought, and not necessarily in the best interest of the community. So you look, we're surrounded by Edmonton, who wants to expand, who wants to get more money. You have Leduc that says they're the fastest growing city in the province, and not disputing that. But Leduc Council has said in public that they don't think that the smaller centers need money. They're growing, they need the help, and the smaller centers can figure it out. And that was said in a council meeting. I listened to it. So, so now you got the city of Leduc and the city of Edmonton deciding that we don't get any money, because of course Edmonton's a charter city, same as Calgary. 69% of respondents think that political parties would make municipal governments more divisive and less effective. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Because let's say you have 4 conservatives and 1 NDP, let's just say for that. It doesn't become a discussion. It becomes a fight. And yes, from my experience, I've been around long enough to know that when I've seen some very divisive councils, and what I mean by divisive is fist fights in council, not discourse and discussion. You have to have that, but actual fist fights where the police are involved, water pitchers are being thrown, punches in the nose, fights outside. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I don't think that we should let this go. I think we need to make our voices heard, and maybe I'll reach out to our CAOs. We're due for a meeting here pretty soon and see what their councils think about this. But I do believe we have to make some noise.
So you'll just bring it back on.
Bring it back to regular, Your Worship.
Yeah, and just one note there, Jesse, on that, change the year for November 28th to 2023. We're not to November 24 yet.
Oh.
Thank you.
No, everything will still be 2024 next year.
All right, any Anybody have any other comments on that? Like I said, we'll bring it up on the next one and, direct administration to do something at that time.
Who's bringing this in? Is it the Prime Minister, the Premier?
Yes.
Is she the one? Can they not get a petition to oust her out like you can a mayor?
You can, but as Calgary has found out, it's almost impossible. They don't take the number of people that voted, they take the number of people that are eligible. So like for Calgary, to get rid of the mayor, everybody wants to get rid of her. They needed 520,000 votes and they got 70,000. And yet everybody was for it. So it was almost impossible for them to come up with those. They were at it for months trying to get the signatures, right? So.
Yeah, but how many were trying to get them? You need more than 5 or 10 people in a city trying to get signatures.
No, you're right. So I mean, that's something they are talking about, making those, rules a little easier, because that doesn't make any sense, you know, to come up with that
Yeah.
number of people to, you know, so.
I was surprised to hear there's 3 mayors that are trying to oust out.
Yeah, there's much more. They had, so far they've had 4, I believe they've, correct me if I'm wrong, Donna, but I think they had 4 recalls in Alberta and 2 of them were successful.
They're successful.
So it's hard to do, but.
Well, isn't it Wetaskiwin and Denelda and Calgary?
Yes, Denelda's, we should hear from Denelda pretty soon. Calgary, they didn't have enough signatures. Wetaskiwin, they're working on. I can't remember which meeting was it where it was successful. It was a smaller town. So, the Premier has indicated that the number of signatures required are ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
It is, and it should be the amount of electors that voted in the last election, which would make sense. The recall for a premier is under the provincial recall legislation, so it's not the same. It's a higher standard of care to get rid of a premier or minister than it is a municipal elected official, just because of the difference in duties, I guess. I haven't read the whole act yet, but that's kind of the high level of it. So, most of the, well, and then there's Medicine Hat right now. The mayor is pretty much stripped of her powers, stripped of her earning potential because of how she treated the CAO. And it was bad. It was quite bad, actually. I was talking to some of my counterparts down there, and it wasn't nice. So she's been stripped, which is unusual for a council to really take matters under their bylaw and take her out. She's not even allowed in council chambers. So, and Chestermere is a mess. So there's a by-election coming, I think it's in June, for Chestermere, for a whole council. And the council that got ousted by municipal affairs can run again. So we'll see what happens. To me, if you've been recalled, you shouldn't be able to run again.
Right.
The people have spoken, but, so there's lots of turmoil right now. And of course, we're just about halfway through year 3, so electioneering starts January 2025 for the October election. So it's interesting. Now, if you look at, just to compare them, you look at a First Nations chief and council meeting. They meet for 2 solid weeks. The first week is all the business. The second week is treasury, in other words, all their budgets. And then they take a week off and they meet the 3rd week for planning. So they're constantly in council, which is really quite interesting. We meet twice a month, which is a very good schedule, and it's good. We don't meet every day, thank heavens, or every week. So there's just lots of interesting stuff happening around the province. So people have to run for the right reasons. They really do.
All right, thank you. Any other questions on that there? Not, can I get a motion to accept 10.1 for information?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Tracy. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Carried. All right, that's it. So, public, you guys have anything else back there you want to,
I want to know whatever happened to our electronic sign that was bought and paid for, and it still isn't up. Like, how long does it take to put a sign up?
yeah, I think,
I can answer it.
Go ahead. Yes, I don't,
But it is annoying, Debbie, I will say that. Your sign is on the way. What happened was, we had all the permits in place. We had the first permit where we're supposed to go the first time. The chamber decided they were not cutting down their sign, which is fine, that's their right, prerogative. So we had to move it because transportation wouldn't allow both sets of signs there, okay? So we moved it to the location, going into the industrial park, at that corner there. We did have the permit for that, we still have the permit for that, I guess. But what happened was, TELUS did not come in time with the lab locates, they don't come in time at all. So they, because they didn't come in time for the sign company, not us, for the sign company, we had to apply for revival of the permit, which is sitting in transportation. So, I'm expecting to hear from it any time now, and that sign will then go
So
up.
is there gonna be a pullout that you can pull into to read that sign if you wanna read it?
No, not at that location.
there is a approach there that goes to the industrial, so I mean, you could go into the approach and look at it, but you'll see it from the main highway. Yeah. Ivan, go ahead.
My hand's raising.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I find that latest idea where they're gonna put it at the corner of the industrial area there, had to be worse than Kalmar. You have to have time to stop and look at, and I've always been, thought the idea of putting it next to the sign, where all the businesses are on.
The Chamber of Commerce.
They complement one
Yeah.
another, but you surely can't tell.
The issue is we don't own that land. That's the biggest issue, right?
Other than that, why not put it on the south side of town? You get just as many newcomers going in on the south side,
Yeah, there's not as many as the north.
and you could probably put it in and have some place where they can pull over to the side. That's the only problem with Kalmar. And you can't have, there's nowhere to pull over.
Well, and I think, the biggest problem with Calmer is it's straight, it's perpendicular to the highway, right? If you did it at an angle, you'd have a lot more time to read it, right? You know what I mean? If you slanted it.
Well, they should be able to slow them down.
Yeah.
Like, by the time you get halfway done reading it, it's already on to something else, and you go, what was that all about? You don't get to see it.
Yeah, Andrew, go ahead.
So there is an actual merge lane, turning off into the industrial park, and there's a merge lane coming out.
Are they allowed to stop in a, okay.
Yeah. And like I say, it's not gonna be perpendicular, it's, I think, like, it's gonna be more of an angle. Yeah, which would help quite a bit, I think.
I can start to read that, where the 50-kilometer and up sign is there. I can start to read it, but if you're going 50 kilometers an hour, you can't read all of it.
No, you can't.
It's interesting.
We can, your worship, to former Councillor Ivor, retired Councillor Ivor, I guess is probably a better way of saying it. We can change the speed on the sign quite easily, like, we'll send Jesse for training. Like, she has nothing else to do. And, way to go, Jeff, thanks for volunteering, appreciate it.
Irene, go ahead.
The issue of the tree at Taylor Park, has that been resolved at the chamber been advised? It's staying where it is?
The chamber advised us they didn't want to move it, and then, of course, you and I and Ivor had our meeting, and Councillor Tracy, came. I haven't informed the chamber of our meeting yet, but I will, and, I don't expect the tree will be moved, but I will do that, and then I'll wait for your letter as well for that request, and, we'll send it to. Is there any knowledge from you, Councillor Tracy, of anything?
There's been no further conversation.
Okay, we'll send the paperwork in, probably first of next week, we'll send it in to them.
Go ahead,
We're talking about that turnoff in there. At one time, I did some work and talked to some of the government people about turning it into a rest area where people can coming into town and they have a place to pull over and, whatever, to tie it into the system, the trail system. That's already got its name in the province. And a lot of people have been up, down there to go through the trails, so. But they'd have to figure out some way of crossing the road.
Yeah. So, your worship, to, Councillor Ivor, is that up where the chamber sign is? Was that what?
No,
No.
the next turn off, right
Okay, that's the
there.
industrial.
That little Y-shaped one, or V-shaped spot.
Okay.
And if you go too far, you drive down into the creek.
Oh, I got it, okay, I know where you're at, I got it. Yeah, I think that's the transportation right away, I think.
Mhm.
And they're kind of fussy about that, so I'll talk to the head, contract manager, permit manager, and see if there's any documentation on that
I was
request.
told by the people I visited at the office in Stony Plain
Mhm.
and spent some time there.
Yeah.
It would be a costly thing for us, because we'd have to put the lights up that would be there, and we'd have to have, farther up the road, cautionary lights saying that there's, and then plus, we still have to get hold of some land on the other side of the creek,
Mhm.
to connect it up to the rest of it, so.
Yeah.
And you don't deal very much with shoe chuck.
No, you'd have a few things to say.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure. But I think if there's plans of that, or if there was some discussion with that with transportation, it could go into the file system, and when we're ready, we can take a look at it.
And can I ask one more question? Has anybody, taken the time to contact the artist, the young girl of the high school that did the painting in the office, and did the painting in Shay's office over at C Media? And I think every one of the murals around this area are done by her. And
So she did the one on Council Corey's business? Okay.
That'd be Janine Brode.
she must be still living in the area though.
So that is to change, you're thinking of the mural change at Taylor Park?
She was asked to do that mural to begin with.
Yeah. I think what I have to do, the chamber's under an memorandum of understanding with us. I will connect with the chamber president and see what they want to do with her, see if they've contacted her.
I think I pointed out
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, it is pretty.
I think you pointed out in that sheet that I shared with you,
You did.
and you're probably aware, it would cost a few dollars. If you don't have to move that mural somewhere, all you have to do is insulate the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
And have something over the top that kind of make water go. But right now, the way it is now, moisture has a chance of going sideways, and it will. And it'll go through that plywood, and that'll start falling off any, shoe. But if you insulate the back of it, you'd have to put about 4 inches of foam in the back.
Yeah.
And then shuffle the back of that. And then, of course, you've got to prepare, the surface wasn't prepared, and I wasn't given enough time by the woman that painted it. I had myself and one of my guys that was working for me, we were for a day and a half there. And she showed up in the middle of the afternoon, and there were holes from, they didn't join the sheets properly. We had to fill in the back of it, stirred it up.
Yeah.
And she just went ahead and put white paint on it and then finished that. And she did that on a Saturday. She showed up on a Saturday, and we weren't quite finished, and she said, no, that's good. Nobody even noticed those problems. And the next morning, she came in with her father and did the whole thing one day. So,
He listens to me.
Okay. Well, you can look at it.
He listens to me.
Anything else? Bridget?
I was wondering, Donna, can you share with us a plan for the town's plant, the flowers this year?
During the budget, we shared that the Hutterites are growing the plants, and there will be planting 3-4 days before the long weekend.
Public Works doing it, or?
The volunteers. That plan hasn't changed since our budget submission.
I don't recall hearing exactly what was
Mm.
planned.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty.
Okay, anything else? No? All right, motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Tracy. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you, Shelley. Thank you for attending, Shelley. Have a good night.
You too, thanks.
Okay, that's it.